Hi folks, Marcus Traxler here, Collegian postgame show, here with Jeremy Hoeck of the Yankton Press in Dakotan. Jeremy, glad to have you as always.
Thank you.
Really exciting game. First, your thoughts on kind of this as a whole, and sort of it's 9 years away from it. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was hard to believe that 9 years later the game was already here and we were already talking about it. It just seemed like, if it's possible, time flew almost. But yeah, it was an amazing crowd. We had 15,000 people and probably a little bit less than they thought, but certainly a lot to cheer for on this side of the field. On the other side, it was a little quiet because it was a quick start for the Jacks, and Coyotes really never got back into it.
You cover the Yotes on a more regular basis. What was sort of your thoughts on how they came out? Because they were flat, or maybe the Jacks shot down any chances they had.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The Coyotes were flat, and it was kind of the same situation as the North Dakota State game. I thought, that one was a 54-0 loss. This one a little different, but just in the way they came out flat, and all of a sudden they're down 3 touchdowns. The first quarter's not even over, and it's 21-0, and then they got going after halftime. I thought the offense really turned a corner, but just couldn't punch it in. They had a couple chances too, but they just couldn't get it done.
What is the takeaway of Joe Gunn's first season? 1-10. I mean, that's pretty terrible. But
yeah.
I mean, it seems like when you play that many close games, 4 within 3 points. I mean, there's clearly something there.
Yeah, you're right. And to me, it was the inexperience. He talked about some of the the young kids on the line, the offensive line. Their quarterback's a sophomore, and he hadn't seen a start before this year. He got better as the year went on, but there were some struggles there. They're going to have to fix some of the penalty issues and some of the defensive size differences, because it was noticeable today that the USD's lines on both sides are really small, and they're going to have to get some bigger kids in there to compete.
As for the Yotes, they're done at 1-10. The Jacks 8-3 now. Really, the 21-0 start was the key for them in getting going. The Chris Tracy fumble was pretty large, and save for a block punt in the fourth quarter, the Jacks were nearly flawless as far as the scoreboard went. I guess as you've watched 2 games this season, what are your thoughts on the Jacks?
Yeah, I mean, the first game I saw, they played Western Illinois, and I was just amazed at their defense. And today was no different. I mean, I'm even more impressed with the defense, just the way they fly around. They get guys to the ball. I mean, the way they stop the run is amazing to me. I mean, USD had 22 carries for 22 yards. That's almost impossible when you think about it. As many carries. I mean, USD's a running team, so they had to throw it a lot today. They found some success through the air, but the run game was kind of their bread and butter, and I was just amazed at how the Jacks just took that away in such a quick fashion and forced USD to do something they don't like to do.
I really thought that was the crux of his running. Brock Jensen burned up the Jacks last week in Fargo, running the football. He had a 56-yard run that arguably turned the tide. Vandermountain never had a real large run, never more than maybe 5 yards at a time. And that, if you can't string those together like the Jacks so often do with Zenner, and they use Vandermountain kind of like SDSU uses Zenner, because they're looking for him to set the pace, and they just never were able to do that. What are your thoughts on maybe this league and who goes to the playoffs? NDSU's going, we know that. That's about all we know, because Illinois State loses today. They have an FBS win, but it was over Eastern Michigan. You got the Jacks. No real bad losses. At Northern Iowa, their record's not very good, but that's a tough place to play. Indiana State's out. They've got 6 Division I wins. And Youngstown is probably too far off the bubble. So maybe those are your 3 teams: Illinois State, SDSU, and NDSU. Miss anybody?
No, I think you're probably right on the money. I think if we had to bet tomorrow at 12:30, I think that's who we would get in. And, I'd be surprised if SDSU didn't get in. I mean, I'd really like to see them in the playoffs. As a South Dakota kid, just to watch what they would do to give some teams some problems with that run game. But I think if the league gets 2 in, that would be a huge surprise. I think you're probably right. Probably 3 is the number.
Yeah, I think it played out just perfectly that maybe those 3 teams are going to be the ones to make it. The resumes just aren't there for Indiana State and Youngstown. As for that, 31-8's the final here from Coughlin Alumni Stadium. The Jacks find their fate on Sunday as far as where they'll be playing, if they make it in. And a note to pass, since we're talking to students, if the Jacks have a home game in the playoffs or 2, they'll have to pay for tickets on a student front. So nobody's getting in for free. That's all we got from Coughlin Alumni Stadium. Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.
See you later.